Every new generation of 800 series Diamond is a very special event for everybody at Bowers & Wilkins, and for good reason. This isn't something we do very often. Typically, it takes us between 4 and 5 years to produce each new range. It brings together everybody across the whole business, everybody in manufacturing, and everybody in research and development. We all come together to produce the most advanced range of loudspeakers that we know how to make. A range that will be beloved by music lovers, by audiophiles, by critics, and by studio engineers the world over. For all of us at Bowers & Wilkins, the 800 series Diamond is everything that we know and everything that we are. Now, I know you can't wait to dive into the details of the new range, and don't worry, we will get there soon. But before we do, it's worth recapping on the story of the 800 series so far. Now, the story of 800 series begins in 1976. Our founder, John Bowers, was determined to improve upon the performance of the loudspeakers he'd been able to develop so far. So he initiated a then unprecedented 3-year research project with no constraints. And the aim was to come up with the most advanced design possible. The end result was the Model 801, which emerged in 1979. It got its name very simply because it was the first generation of Bowers & Wilkins loudspeakers designed for the 1980s. Now, very quickly, it became hugely popular and successful with recording studios across the world. It wasn't originally designed as a studio monitor, but its unique configuration with a mid-range drive unit mounted inside a dedicated separate enclosure made it perfect for the task of really accurate monitoring of sound. Before long, Abbey Road Studios, Skywalker Sound, and many other famous studios across the world were using the loudspeaker to help create content. We have a saying that music that will soon be heard everywhere is heard first on Bowers & Wilkins loudspeakers, and it's the 801 that inspired that. Even if you've never been fortunate enough to hear either an 801 or any other 800 series Diamond loudspeaker, the chances are you've experienced something that it has contributed to, because this loudspeaker has been used to create some of the most famous pieces of film sound and music sound in the last 35 to 40 years. If you saw Return of the Jedi, if you saw Lord of the Rings, if you saw more recently Skyfall or 1917, the music scores for those films were made and monitored using 800 series loudspeakers. Similarly, from the music point of view, everything from Pink Floyd in their Pomp to the contemporary Call of Celeste, it's all been done using 800 series loudspeakers. So of course, we've evolved 800 series over time. It's no longer just one model. Now there are multiple different variants within the 800 series lineup, depending on your requirement. Whether you have a large room or a smaller room, we have something to suit. At the same time, we've also added a whole series of advanced new technologies to try and improve performance. For example, in 1987, the addition of the Matrix cabinets. In 1998, the curved and iconic Nautilus cabinets, which have since become a hallmark of the range. In 2005, the addition of Diamond Tweeterdome technology, with its advanced high-frequency performance that, again, was so important to the range, we actually incorporated it into the model name, becoming 800 series Diamond. And then most recently in 2015, our latest 3rd generation of 800 series Diamond with Continuum mid-range cones. So that's the history of the range. Now it's time to take a look at the future. I'm going to introduce you to the 4th generation of 800 series Diamond. We begin with a 5-strong stereo model range, of which the entry point is this, a stand mount design, the 805 D4. It has a 165mm or 6.5-inch mid-bass cone, plus a forward-firing port, and it can be mounted on a stand or a tabletop. It's joined by a floor-standing model, the 804 D4, which adds a dedicated FST mid-range cone to the configuration, plus twin bass drive units. The next model up is the 803 D4. This takes that same 5-inch mid-range cone found in the 804 and houses it in a dedicated mid-range enclosure we call the turbine head, adding maximum openness and spaciousness to the sound. Take that same configuration and scale it, and you come to the 802 D4, with a 6-inch design in a larger turbine head for more output in bigger rooms, coupled to more bass extension from twin 8-inch bass cones. And finally, there's the flagship model, the 801 D4, named of course after that iconic 801 from 1979. The flagship design, it has twin 10-inch bass cones and a larger bass enclosure for maximum extension in bigger spaces. Now, if you're a fan of films, and you'd like to partner any of these stereo models with additional loudspeakers to build out a home theatre, we offer a range of solutions. First, we have 2 dedicated 800 series Diamond centre channels. The smaller model, the HGM82, uses a 5-inch cone and can be partnered very effectively alongside 804D4 and 803D4. The larger model, the HGM81, uses a 6-inch cone and can be partnered alongside 802D4 and 801D4. We also offer matching in-wall and in-ceiling loudspeakers from our CI800 series Diamond range, plus of course our DB series of subwoofers to complete that home theatre experience. Now, 800 series Diamond is available in multiple finishes. There's the piano gloss black finish you can see here. That's joined by a rose nut finish, a very beautiful wood veneer. We'll have a white finish and a walnut finish to complete the set. We've also got new designs of magnetically attached grille, individual to each cone on each cabinet. Let's take a closer look at the design details. One key thing you'll notice that every model now has is an elongated tweeter on top form. It's longer than before to improve the acoustic performance, but also to improve the design detailing. That's whether you've got a turbine head design or the floor standing and stand mount models at the entry part of the range, the 805 and the 804. That tweeter body, in fact, on those 2 designs goes all the way from the front to the back of the cabinet. The other thing you'll notice about both of these models is they now have a new shape, what we refer to as the reverse wrap form. We introduced it back in 2015 on the larger designs. We've now cascaded it into the 805 and the 804 as well. That means the drive units are placed at the front of a single and extreme curvature, and the crossover componentry lives at the back behind a metal spine. That greatly improves the acoustic performance, but also, as you can see, does wonders for the design detailing. Every model in the range, from the smallest to the largest, introduces this new aluminium plate at the top. This both greatly improves the acoustic performance by stiffening up the system, but also provides a perfect carrier for that leather by Connolly detailing. And one last thing you'll notice is all of the models with plinths have a revised form for that plinth, both to improve acoustic performance, but also design detailing and stability.